of that bubble or around 3 or so. So it kind of just shows you that teams really have to step it up in these last 3 games. The final pool here, if they want to take over the teams that are just on a rampage right now, who, by the way, not far behind are Whofishy, Aspect, and Kaz here, who've just been playing very, very exceptional Fortnite today. There goes the zone pool. It's going to kind of go in their direction here. This is going to favor the likes of Saf, Kanata, Stretch, Users, Duke, right? We knew they were not too far off from there. So everyone on this western side, close to that bubble to the center, are going to have a pretty decent and okay time rotating right now.
Yeah, this next zone's tough because there's a big valley in the middle, essentially, with 2 hills on the outside, so anyone who goes down that center is going to be in a tough spot. But hold on a minute, Whofishy hits 2 body shots onto Taikzu as well, alongside Moo's team, who've been having a very, very tough day today. If they got off spawn, struggling with Storm Surge, and the exact same thing's happening yet again right here. And this is free fish food for Whofishy, as he just going to get plenty of sprays. They're going to play aggressive, they're going to get in, they're going to take advantage of the fact that that other team was struggling so much with Surge and pick up very, very free eliminations.
Gabe Tahi and Sprite rotate on through. They hear the noise happening there, but they're like, no, your vehicle means more to us. They take the car and they're out. They're going to go to get to the zone. Little yoink right there for Aspect and Kaz. They're not going to have that mobility anymore. Here's our fallen champs of the season right now. Day, Miro, and Reverse 2K, who have really been having a tough time in the 2-day format right now. A little underprepared for the weekend, but you know what? They've had some great moments here nonetheless. And now a big fight breaking out between Bugha, Avery, Nosh here, who, again, this game don't have issues with Surge, right? Adjusted the strat to go on up to steamy stacks, but now versus 2K, Miro, and Day, probably not the same that we can say for them, right? They might just need this fight here.
You know, when I'm looking at their match history, out of the 9 games that they've played, they have been eliminated between 13th and 17th. So first moving zone in 6 of the games. Sorry, 7 of the games. 7 of the games they've gone down first moving zone, and the other 2 they've gone down to Storm Surge. So from a veteran team, a team that's won 2 FNCS finals, they've placed 4th in another. Like, this is definitely a showing for them that shows that they are underperforming, that they're under practiced as well. Not even getting a single game into the top 10 is really, really tough to see. And it's definitely got to be tough on their mentality too. They're dominant in Cash Cups. They're dominant when it comes to other FNCSs, but now when it comes to this kind of format, they just clearly haven't practiced like they have in the other seasons, and it's just not paying off for them.
Yeah, it's really showing right now. The struggle starting to kick in, but hope is still there for teams to go and hop on up. Right now, Miro, Reverse 2K, and Day are holding a top 25. So, you know, kind of towards the bottom of the barrel here. And off the elim mark that we normally and traditionally do tend to see them at. Miro, Dan, Reverse 2K, still though, very, very deadly trio. This could spell trouble. This could spell disaster for a team like Aspect, Whofishy, and Kaz, who do have that firepower. They have what it takes to hold their own, but you never really know with these top trios, right? Especially those that are at the, what I like to call the upper elite level, those FNCS champion-worthy trios like Miro versus 2K and Day here. They can really, they have that I guess, the history to do those 2-game comeback, right? Against any caliber of lobby and shut things down.
And what's scary about them is the fact that when they fight you, it's over fast. It's over before you even know when it started, right? Like, one of the members of the team, like Aspect, Kaz, and Whofishy, can just be picked up before they've even understood what's going on. You can see that right now. They're trying to set the trap. They're looking out for their prey. See Miro looking through the cone, Reverse 2K and Day down below staring up.
I was going to say, for all we know, this could be a sign to go for him. He's like, hey, they don't even have a cone up here. Like, let's do this, right? You know, like, you never know. You never really know what's going to tick off Miro or Day here to jump on in. Wood walls? Oh, yeah. That's a sign to get in. That's wood one sign. We were wondering what it takes. You know, no cone, wood walls? Yeah, we're going in.
We're going straight, and the Miro's inside the box. The AR spray only.
Oh, man.
Is that all 3 players picked up? I think a snipe shot actually came through at the exact same moment. Day has also been picked up now. The fire starts to come through. I think that was from a gas can at the same moment too, but I think they're going to be able to get the res off there. That was one of the fastest eliminations a full trio wipe, as I already mentioned, would happen, right? As soon as it starts, it's over so quickly. And yes, the third party spraying from afar definitely helped, but it was the speed, the pressure that they applied by just jumping straight in before Whofishy could even understand what was going on, which netted them capped materials from now on with a launch pad too.
And that's the thing. You give Miro, Day, or Reverse a little too much time to plot against you, and it's over. They're going to make a strategy. They're going to have a game plan that's probably going to have a high success rate. You watch it unfold right there. Out comes the lobby pressure as they try to make this rotate. They're so close to getting on in. They do have enough mats to go ahead and commit to this, but look at this. They're just opened up to 4 different trio sight lines right now, and more on the mountain. I lied. It's like 6 or 7 here. This is a lobby focus if you've ever seen it. Oh, are they going to make it?
Not sure. All of them almost 1 HP. Reverse goes down out of the sky, but no, he may be able to get picked up, but that focus is going to come in from all of the lobby. Day now picked up to Miro, left on almost 10 HP as he's got 2 knocks in his box. The extra materials will be there if those finishes come off, but he's got to try and do something. Got to try to be able to get the res off if he can stop this unrelenting pressure from almost the entire lobby, but I just don't see it happening. There's no reason for them to stop spraying unless they just happen to run out of ammunition right now, but Miro actually may have an opportunity to do so.
You know, I was thinking, like, he's got enough heavy mats to, like, bluff out these opponents, right? Like, that's the real telltale sign. Like, does he switch to wood? Man, he's still on brick? No, we got him soon, right? Like, he's still on brick. Like, wait a second. He went through all of his metal and all of his brick, but that 1,000 material was enough to, again, just bluff out the team, right? Bluff out the opponents and have them second guess the fact that, wait, are there 2 people up here? Or, like, what's going on right now?
But now they're only 8 above the Storm Surge damage. It is active. If these players start to go down, we're going to start to see them probably be underneath. Miro is now trying to get some tags as he goes at the same time, but there's not that many players in his sight lines. They've all managed to be raised. The shields have been popped, but all 3 of the members are on 125 HP. The tags come on out. They're now 95 above. 6 more players need to go down to the Storm. They seem to have the minis to keep themselves in it, but again, I don't think 95 above will be enough. If we see one of the teams that's above them on the Storm Surge leaderboard go down, we're going to see them go down below, but it seems like that has not happened. They are 156 above. They should be okay for these next 3 players to go down, and now they've launch padded deep into this 5th zone too, so they're going to be almost on that dead side, so they should have a relatively free next rotate, as they've also just conveniently landed on some hard materials.
I was going to say, he just found metal in the bush, by the way, that was left over from who knows who. P-God, TK, and Peterbot are going to be one of the trios that are based up next to them, but man, what a comeback for Day, Miro, and Versus2K to just all of a sudden be back in the game like they never were, nearly just eliminated, taken out in completion there, but you know, they're struggling now. They're going to have to jump on another team. Next victim potentially here could be Saf, Stretch, and Kanata. That's a trio that's just right next door. Now, mind you, they are going to need a refresher, so we're going to see who they decide to go ahead and fight here. As we swing over to the other side, Gabe, Toddy, and Sprite still up right now as well. Who else is in this game here? I see Edgy and Commandment, only 2 though.
Ooh, that could be tough for them. Maybe the camera just didn't pan and give us a full spread to see if we could see them there. Don't see Scented up at that moment. At the same time, Jukes still in this one as well as a full trio. They finally managed to make it past the Storm Surge as they're getting fully ramped by Miro. It seems like Day, Miro, and Reverse may be going for high ground or just for a full play or a rotate. No, they're just trying to get ahead of the Storm right now. But Jukes uses Injustice, 4 eliminations to the name, 1,000 above the Storm Surge damage. Finally, we're starting to see them in top form.
Is this it? Is this their time to come back? Is this where they all of a sudden swing things back into their favor, take first place, and don't let it go? I mean, what we saw from them yesterday was just exceptional play here, especially when it came down to their end game, top 10, round after round. They didn't drop a single beat here. Let's see, though. They're making this rotate. They're doing a great job here staying in front, but you notice other teams have the same exact strategy in mind. That's why Reverse2K, Miro, and Day were swinging around the front. That's where normally you see Scented, Edgy, and Commandment, but there's no Scented here right now from what we can tell. Reverse2K is going to find Gabe there in the feed. Scope onto Thatch. Skittles is going to go down to Dictating. That's the high ground team putting pressure. Miro finds Colazo as well. So Miro, Dan, Reverse2K are popping off right now at 5 eliminations. Mega Dubs and Rokane still alive here. They end up giving up the high ground to Wrigley and Dictating, and now they're on the low ground here, so they might be clashing up here against Duke's Users Injustice.
Might be all 3 teams that we're spectating currently on that low ground position. You got to think Scented, Commandment, Edgy probably around that same layer too. Jukes has changed that layer, got themselves up a little bit higher. They're still as a full trio up at the top here, still with capabilities applying that pressure too. But Miro now 5 eliminations on today, 2 eliminations onto Miro, and going for more, but he's going to be traded up instead. So it's going to be up to Day to see if he can apply that pressure, hit those shots back in return, and they might even be able to get the res off. They're not going to go for it at all. Reverse is going to start leading Day in, tunneling him, setting himself up into positions to get as many shots as he can. But no, there's a player in the back. The Mongraal Classic comes out. He manages to dip outside of the box, but only 62 HP remaining, but a lucky zone pull will pull back to him and give him time to breathe.
And just a great read right there to go ahead and turn around and actually just had a chunky shotgun shot right there to go and keep him safe in the game here. And that's Kanata, Saf, and Stretch, who are just down below. Reverse UK has to make a decision here. Stay on the level, burn these materials, or go down and face a full-on trio. I mean, decision's pretty simple here. Stay on the level, don't give it up, but they're going to be moving into Roking Dubs and Mega soon, who are just in front here. So either way, a clash is going to happen. There's the silhouette. You can see behind the wall. Here they are, but Mega looking on the wrong layer here, almost drops his guard there and nearly gets taken out, but no. They end up giving up this grounds here, and they're still alive at the moment. Reverse UK finds a full trio. Sprite, Tahi go down there in the feed. Reverse does find what he was looking for. Mega finds the refresher here. We're officially inside the top 8. As Justice finds Reverse UK. Huge Elam for him. Day's by himself now. That same layer. No, big shot there. Down goes Blake. Great points for him here. 6 already for his own individual Elams.
6 for himself. He's sneaking, he's slinking around the back of the Storm. He's tagging a little bit of shot. He managed to have that chug cannon at the back there, keeping him in it, but with such low HP, he's gonna have to try and do anything. One single shot from any AR, from basically any shotgun will take him out, but he has the materials, so he's gonna cover his top. He's gonna cover his bottom, but he is on that second height, and that pressure is gonna start to come out from the top. A player's onto his wall, but no, he manages to block it off. He goes out, he goes for the shot. No, he manages to yet again disengage, get back out, but again he's playing so careful, so fast. The player goes through from the other side of the wall, but no, he's out, and it's P-God who picks Day up.
Oh, that was filthy right there. He was almost quick enough to do it. You saw the technique, the high level play coming in, but P-God still so nimble. He's gonna jump down a couple more layers. He's alive here, he's in a game, but the story is for Dukes, uses Injustice, who finally managed to make an end game here on day number 2. Dukes comes down, huge shot, but it's a miss. It's not enough. User with a huge follow-up. Can he get this last one? This is important. It could be everything, but it's not the finish he was looking for. Saf does not manage to be enough here, but Agers on high ground with Degen and Skittles pull out a victory royale in the final moments.
In a classic high ground playstyle from Degen, Agers, and Skittles, in this next game, we have seen what is normally their playstyle, right? They just go up, they take it early on, and they dominate from high ground. We haven't seen too much of that from them. We've seen them a lot more on the mid layers, getting a bunch of eliminations, or just games where they flop a little bit more. But from Jukes, Justice, and Users, let's be real, that is one of the games that we've been looking for. Potentially a choke. I think they ran out of materials, which is why they took so much fall damage there. But at the same time, 8 Elams and third. This is finally the game that they've been needing to propel them back up the leaderboards.
Big game. Another top 10 team takes a victory, guys, and we'll see how that ends up. Shaking up here in just a little bit. So we're going to toss on over to the desk to see what you got for us.
First off, MDF, let me just say, you look awesome today. Good stuff, man. Okay, game number 10 did not disappoint. I don't know what NA East is doing today, but literally everyone at the top is just constantly fighting. It's not even about like, hey, where can we go to find these other eliminations to kind of help buffer us? No. The top 10 are like, hey, we're just going to start taking each other out because that's what we need to do to win. And that's what I like. But they're correct. Though the victory royale does go over to Degen, Agers, and Skittles, the bigger story here is Dukes and company. Remember, yesterday they had 5 games in a row where they held down that #1 spot. And going into this game, they finally were dethroned, but only dropped to second. And now with this game, Vivid, I don't know, man. They very well could be in first place.
Yeah, that was a huge game for them right now. No, KO TabZ and Pledge, they still hold on, but as you guys can see, there is going to be a battle over the top 3 right here, right? It was a bad game from TabZ as they only got 21st, and then Scented Edge and Commandment that game only ended up getting up 13th, both of them getting 0 elim. So perfect opportunity for Justice, Dukes, and Users to have a good game and kind of put themselves in that running again. As you guys can see here, the top 3 is really close.
Yeah, 11 points. This is so tight with only 2 games to play, fellas. Unbelievable. But yeah, Duke's Justice and Users absolutely had to come through in that game, and they did. They've given us a real opportunity here, which is absolutely incredible. We also have the likes of DJ and Agents and Skittles, who were in 6th position there, and now go up to 4th position, so they're looking really exciting as well here. But what I'm liking about this table is that even though we've only got 2 games to play, there are still a lot of teams in that 200-point bracket right now who still have every opportunity to propel themselves up towards the Axe of Champions. I'm excited about this. I know you boys are too, but it's looking mighty, mighty interesting indeed, Vivid.
Yeah, and what was crazy about that game was that Saf, Kanata, and Shredge were actually found on the low ground, getting 2nd place from the low ground, which was absolutely crazy because those guys love the high ground. So to see them down there picking up some good placement points is a sight to see.
It is, yeah. I mean, we look at the 11th through 20th position here as well now. I can see the likes of, Dave Trahi and Sprite there. I mean, Dame Mirror and Reverse UK having, I think they're in 26th position, had not finished above 19th this entire competition, which is unheard of, having last season's FNCS champions there. But suddenly they're in 13th now, having a whopping great amount of eliminations that last game, getting themselves into a position where they could enter the top 10 with 2 games to go. They need more of that. We need to see more of that, fellas. Come on, they're my prediction. Come on. We've also got the likes of Bully, Chrysalix, Bankteller. Obviously, yesterday we talked about these guys as well, who weren't doing particularly well, obviously being a third party left, right, and centre in Steamy, but now they're in 14th position. So a lot of teams who didn't have a great day 1 are having a much better day number 2. I know there's a trio you want to focus on here as well, Vivid, who is exciting, and I think it's Mega and Rokane have particularly caught your attention.
Yeah, so I pretty much wanted to just highlight how that these guys are playing their endgame, right, and why they are so good. So Rokane here is going to be expanding his Tarb, and his trio mates here, Mega and Dubs, are going to be getting into a fight. Over here you can see this wall is breaking because they are getting pressed on this wall, right? But Rokane doesn't go back to help them. He actually starts to break this wall right here. That way he can get a separate angle on the fight, and as you can see here, it works out beautifully. Bully kind of oversteps, steps into this box that Mega, Dubs, and Rokane have control over, and the only reason they have control over it is because of piece control. So great hindsight from Rokane here, getting a different angle on the fight. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out here was that Mega is so smart. Look at this. This floor right here, if you guys are paying attention, you can see that it just got placed because it's building. If this floor just got placed, that means that there is a player up here, right? And then Mega knows that he has piece control over here up on this cone. This is incredible. This is one of my favorite things I've ever seen. Mega basically grabs the edits on this floor and this cone up here, right? Because he knows that there's a player up there because he saw that floor build. And watch this. When he grabs the edit on the cone, he can see a little sliver of the player through that cone edit come right through. So he makes the edit, drops the player down, and finds the elimination.
Amazing. Amazing.
Only Vivid has eyes like that. He has special eyes, okay? That's how he was able to capture that. Fortnite fan, we're getting ready to jump back into the action. We heard the battle bus, which means we're jumping into game number 11. Only 2 more games before we crown another set of champions. So buckle up! We're going back on the battle bus. MDF, Reese, back over to you.
Here we have it. Just 2 more games left, Reese. It's time to start, decking up the cards here, playing the right hands, because the opportunities to bring it on home is starting to run out. But we do have ourselves a competition up at the top. You saw how close it is, just a couple points separating our first, second, and third teams. And if the games continue to be as consistent as they have been for a lot of these trios, I mean, our final game, it's going to be pretty ridiculous.
It's going to be pretty crazy. We have to keep an eye out in the elimination feed for Tabs G, Teo, and Pledge to see if they go down early. If they get a 0-point game in here, for Duke's Justice Users, the same thing, and for Commandment Sent and Neji. If any of these 3 teams go down, it opens up the field for any of the teams 4th and below to really, really catch up. And if Tabs G, Teo, Pledge, or any of the other 2 teams that we mentioned there, the current top 3, manage to maintain a good amount of points, 20-ish points every single game, it's going to be tough for anyone else to win. It could be it.
Yeah, that might be it. If it's like a 20-point game for, I'd say Tabs G, Teo, and Pledge, and Duke's Justice Users or Commandments and Edgy don't match that energy. Like that might be it. Like our top 5 teams are really gonna have a great game this game, or their tournament might be over. There's no more room for error.
No, when 10 games are done, 2 games are left, there's only so much you can do. There's only so many points that you can accrue in 2 single matches. 2 single victory royales alone will be 60 points. Add the eliminations onto that. So for some of the teams like Saf, Kanata, and Stretch, who are currently in 6th, who are already 66 points behind. Man, that's a tough one to go for first, right? 6th place is incredibly good. They're going to be definitely playing for a top 3 unless we see some crazy turn of events from Tabs, GTO, and Pledge, who we already know have only had one bad game, and that was their last game that they just played.
Majors, DGen, Skittles, though, 104 points. 104 points on the day. What a good day for them so far. It's great games, you know, being consistent, staying hot on the heels of the opponents here. I do wonder, as this one starts to conclude, you know, when it's all said and done, where are these teams going to end up? They're in 4th right now. All right, they're in 4th.
I want to know. They are indeed. So they're currently in 4th, 235 points. So 51 points behind currently in 1st. However, only 16 points behind 3rd place. So they definitely have a potential to overtake Commandment Sent and Neji, as Commandment Sent and Neji's last game, you know, 13th, 0 eliminations. Very uncharacteristic for them indeed. So we've got to keep an eye out for these teams in 4th and 3rd. And obviously Aspect, Kaz, and Hoofishy, who are very, very close behind, also in 5th place. And it really could go down to any of these who's going to be going in that top 3. And remember, for anyone who's remembering this, top 3 will auto-qualify you through to the finals. But look over to Ager's team again, getting into this engagement that we've seen them hype up so much against Colazzo's trio.
The thing is, we just watched them. They were, you know, cruising nice and pretty down the sunny street here, and all of a sudden, turmoil on the horizon right now. Colazzo on top, holding this high ground. They have them pretty much on a defensive stance right here because, well, why would DGen, Agers, and Skittles want to throw away this game right now? Obviously, they were tagged up first. They're by all means doing the right play right now by waiting to see if Colazzo, Lazar, Trashy come down and make an error here, right? Reveal themselves. Colazzo could be the first one to get targeted. We'll see who they decide to jump on.
Yeah, and we know DGen's team doesn't have that many materials. However, Colazzo's team did manage to get that llama already. So yes, he's completely out. We know the other team has a ton of materials left, so Agers is going to have to try and get up in his face. But no, all 3 of them are just going to jump straight into the car and try to make a getaway. But no, Agers is tanked up big time.
No way.
DGen is only taking 50 damage, but that car is really, really weak as well. And if this blows up right now, that could completely take out Agers. But yes, it's a Need for Speed style getaway, and they are out of it. Let's go.
How in the world did they just survive that? And they didn't even lose a single tire, by the way, so the car still has some decent health here. They're alive. They make it out. That was a getaway. That's what Fortnite's all about right there, isn't it?
You gotta think, are they gonna be chased though? I can see the names over there. And it's Daemiro Reverse.
No.
The one team you probably do not to pull up here, but I don't know if they've even noticed yet. They must hide. You guys have to hide behind this. Cover your line of sight. And Daemiro Reverse have gone past, completely oblivious to the fact that DGen, Agers, and Skittles are here at the edge of the map with nothing. No materials to work with. This would be the freest 6 points that they could ever have if they roll on through here right now. But no, they've not managed to spot them.
Mind you, Reverse Decay Daemiro, they rotate out quick for a fight. So, like, that is quite literally what they're looking for. Yes, they are looking for a fight. And, man, I hope you guys, you can breathe now, all right? If you were holding your breath, it's okay. They survived. That was insane. Just, you know, near Elim experience, if you will. Back to back.
100%. 100%. For them, right, that's going to be big. And remember, because they are currently in 4th place, that could have thrown, honestly, if they went down there the whole tournament. If they clutch up a big game in this, that, remember, the fact that Daemiro Reverse just drove by and didn't see them is indeed legendary.
That would be so crazy. This you can make a whole montage out of this one single game here, how quickly things just could have crumbled for them. So, all right. Now we got something to root for. Agers, DGen, and Skittles here, whether or not they can actually bounce back here, pull a victory. Now, if they do, there'll be another team to go back-to-back today. So, guys, mind you, this is a very tough ask we're putting on the table here. So, you know, bear with us. We're asking for the near impossible, but it is possible. They're still alive.
It is indeed, and this is the remnants of what we saw. This is where Daemiro and Reverse were headed. This is the destination they had on their GPS in that car, and they were pushing into this fight that we've seen so many times. But it seems like they're not looking to take it. This fight has obviously gone on a long time between Bank Teller's team going against Clix's team here. They're not looking to see if they've cleaned up any remnants. We saw on the map that there was a singular player at least up to the north, but they're just going to get on out here. And what I can see is that neither of these teams have actually been eliminated eliminated so far in this game. So unsure where they are. It seems like they may have disengaged, but they didn't disengage past Daymare in reverse.
Yeah, they were just a little too late to get to the steamy stacks here and try to find the fight. I was about to call it the Kevolution Energy. I was like, huh? Wait a second. No, yeah, you know, the steamy stacks powered by Kev, you know?
There you go.
You see it. I see the vibes.
I saw there was a DreamHack question. The only time I ever saw. What was the name of the Steamy Stacks? What's it called? And I remember on that day I'd played Soul Arena, walked past and read that sign, and I've been dropping at that drop spot for 7 seasons, and I was like, oh, this place is called the Kevolution Energy.
Oh my gosh, that's actually incredible. Little things like that, little Easter eggs inside the Fortnite world. Yeah, look around, man. The art team's got some cool stuff planted everywhere.
100%. 100%.
Brocane, Mega Dove's back in a new position now. Hey, they're just trying everything, aren't they? They went south this time.
Yeah, and actually one of the things that's cool is you can see that we've been woods, like, because the trees that have been just completely ripped out, right? You can see the fire damage that's caused them to knock all the way down. One gas can or a couple fireflies, because the trees are so close to each other, just wipes out basically this whole area. So if you want to rotate through here, if the trees are there, great, your sightlines are covered. But if you want to get Storm Surge tags, those trees cover every single player trying to rotate in. So if you're Dubs, Brocane, and Mega, and you want to get tags, you just burn down this area using potentially the fireflies or the gas can, and it just opens up so many more of your sightlines. But again, it's a tough place to get tags on because of the hills. There's still a lot of ways that your sightlines are blocked in there too, so we'll see how that Storm Surge strategy plays out for them.
Yeah, definitely. It might work out though. You saw right there, they caught a couple tags onto Acorn, Jack and Slacks, who were just rotating up from the steamy kind of area there. Night Shark and Clarity have already done their bum rush into the Holly Hatchery for a fight as well. You can see they're looking to get out. They've been using this whole use a vehicle, hop on a team strat. It's been working out for them so far today. Aspect, Who Fishy, and Kaz on the other side playing deep zone right now. Slow and steady.
I'm trying to figure out what the play is from here. Why they've ended up so deep. I mean, they have really good loot, 127 builds on Aspect as well. Potentially they're trying to keep their distance from a specific team that we saw was close by, but maybe a storm fight ensued, because they seem to know something that we don't, that maybe in Believers Beach there's a team roaming around deep in there that they're looking to get tags on, that they're going to hold down in Storm, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing any names pop up. I'm not seeing anyone on the map. Oh, there they are. Now they're starting to come in. Okay, Aspect, I think, has spotted them. However, yes, the sniper's out. He's going to try and look down long range, see if we can get anything through, but I don't know if this is going to be worth it, because the longer they wait here, the longer they're going to have to rotate, the more teams are going to be situated on edge to hold them.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you know, how active have they been? How many fights have they gotten into, right? Like, they might have survived this first kind of surge situation, but, you know, the game's going to continue to roll on. I think it's worth noting that this lobby here is finally, you know, one of the lighter ones, I guess, right? 79 players up, but yeah, up until this point, they have had just stacker after stacker, round after round. And actually, look, a person was rebooted, so we're back up to 80. Just as I was kind of mentioning the lightness of the lobby, they're going to surely keep that number right back up. Yep.
I mean, outside of game number 3 yesterday, that was madness. I couldn't even cast half of that game. I was just looking at the player count and thinking, how is there 65 players up per zone?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried. I was like, wait, is this gonna be the first ever WP FNCS? Like, is this what we've come to? Like, is this what we've come to? Things got back on track, you know, intensity was, you know, put back where it needed to be.
Yeah, those players are just adapting to the crazy stackness that was game 1 and game 2, though. And then I think, again, it's kind of slowed down, right? Most of the Storm Surge has been roughly around 80 players. The level of stackness has been relatively similar in the majority of games. The teams who are taking fights in every other match as well. So, you know, necessarily the games haven't changed that much going on to this day as well. But for Who Fishy, Kaz, and Aspect, that question has been answered. How much have they done? And they've done 95 above.
Oh, look at this. Who Fishy finishes fights in an average of 54 seconds, fastest in NA East.
Wow.
And you know, Miro's close behind that for sure. We saw what he did earlier today. That's just hands down.
54.1.
Right.
I thought it would have been Daymare reverse. If, as a trio, at least, would have taken that tick the box for that one, but potentially as the solo. This has got it, but hold on. They're starting to rotate into Teo, TabsG, and Pledge, who are actually in a fight with Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite at the same time on this Edge of Storm, and Whofish's team potentially might make this faster than 54 seconds.
We're watching a huge engagement right here, and look, they're not even looking to jump in. They're just going to fire at these weak and fresh builds from the side. It's going to really entice the other team on the other side to go in and get inside. It looks like Teo and Pledge are in the better position. They're on the backside of these walls, but do they own them? How much control do they have here? And they need the surge, so yes, this is going to be a pleasure for Pledge now. If he can find his shots, but no, he gets punished pretty big there. He's got to be careful and look for a new angle. Come down, slow down, and start healing. 40 seconds. They have plenty of time to find these tags here, but they need to do it now while they have the attention of Whofishy shooting these builds.
He does need to do something. Pledge, the one that's closest to him, TabsG is on that side, but Teo is keeping his distance, but potentially going out over the top, and maybe he can get a shot through into Aspect, Kaz, and Whofishy and spray back before they even notice. That may be their best opportunity, but no, it seems like Pledge is going to get in, get close, go for a box fight instead, potentially go for some tops as he builds as much space as possible. Yes. Look, he's going for it. He's waiting for him to start spraying. He's taking a sniper out. He's looking. He built all the way around here to get this angle. They're going to heal up. Now, every second that passes, they're going more and more below as they haven't managed to get a single tag so far. This is going to be a 200 0 if they want to be able to manage to get actually above the thresholds to go for this wall. Now, two players on the same wall, but Pledge, shot traded back to him, down to HP at this point. He's still trying to get in with his low HP. ADS out, but no, the Storm Surge will pick him up. Teo now also knocked. TabsG alive left as a solo in the game, trying to out-heal this. 5 more players need to be going down, and 231 below. I think Tabs at this point is just trying to do what he can to out-heal the Storm Surge, whereas Sprite's team, with 6 eliminations total right now, are looking to be in a commanding spot in this fight alone.
And they're 1,000 damage above here. Ty's going to step up here. He wants to take a swing at that. TabsG on the run right now. He's got to hit some shots, though. We already know these 3 medkits can definitely help him in this kind of spot, but he doesn't have the time to sit down and actually use them. And that is wraps for our #1 team coming into game 11. TabsG, Teo, and Pledge fall to the Storm Surge for what might be the second time today, because they did just get taken out in 21st right before this. So these are 2 games back to back now where trouble is starting to set in Paradise here, and the standings are open. They're open once again for Duke's Justin Users to take their spot back in #1, or Commandment Sense and Edge to jump up.
I said at the start of this game, the teams in the top, in particular when it came to TabsG, Teo, and Pledge, cannot, and I mean cannot, have 0-point games. For that, right there, a 0-point game. And the game before that for them, I think was, what, a 5-point game? Let me just check. Yes, a 5-point game. So it's 5 points across the last 2 games to them. You've got to think that for TabsG, Teo, and Pledge, the nerves are starting to set in. The potential idea, the thought that they could be FNCS champions, maybe getting them too much in the later half of day #2.
It could begin to slip away here, but they still have a whole game in front of them. Their most important game of the season is coming up, so don't go anywhere, y'all.
I'm gonna be right here. Yo, that next game's gonna be crazy. The last game always is. But for right now,
think about it. I was gonna say, just think about it. Since they went down, it's gonna just be in that one more team is gonna enter the ring here for, you know what I mean, for the fight for #1. Because yeah, you know, it could have been a runaway train situation. It could have been just another great game, and that was it. But now that they've fallen, I mean, yeah, it really does open up the standings a little bit more.
Yeah, in particular for DGen Agent Skills, and also the team who is third-partying their Aspect, Kaz, and Whofishy, right? If they have big games right now, they can clutch up big time. In particular, if we see a Victory Royale coming out of DGen's team or Aspect's team, or obviously like Commandment's team in there too, man, this is just a championship title opened up to the field of how many people could go for it. Not as many as was on EU, because there was like 10 teams who could have won it in that final game, which is crazy. But still, having a number of teams going into that final game who have the potential to be the FNCS champions at the end of it is absolutely crazy. Right now, see what we're gonna see. As Justice Team still in it as well.
This is close. This is very close.
It is. It is close. It's close indeed. Users team, yeah, look how low below the threshold they are. Getting into a fight as Justice is actually picked up here as well. Users now down to low HP. Jukes as well. The second place team now also may be picked up here with only 4 points in this game.
Very, very important fight here. They go down, this is it. It's completely open for everyone else, but look, he gets a big pickup. Users picks up Justice here, and he actually throws him inside an enemy box. Can he get the save here? He's got enough distance, but Knife, Fish, Donnie here, they're on the way. They're starting to look. They're looking to see if these floors are weak, and they're waiting for one another open fire as a team, but no, instead they hesitate. They think against it. Little do they know that is the team that can actually take home the #1 spot right now, and all of a sudden Dukes, Justin, Users are also granted another opportunity in this lobby when they should not have it. They should not have this chance right now. That should have been wraps for them.
Knifer's team just made a potential, I was about to say, tournament-altering decision there, but not only that, Jay's got beamed out the sky. Donnie's now left at the back as a soloist. Justice is picked up for the second time as he's got lobby focus from outside, and Donnie's team did not pick up the knock, but they're gonna finish and get all the loot for that too. So Jukes and Users now left in this as a duo. They're fine on the Storm Surge, but they're not very fine on the Rotate. Very much similar to in game number 7 when we saw Hoofishy's team burn that launch pad to get themselves into a better spot. We're seeing it again, but now they're switching to full metal builds. Will they be able to suppress the lobby focus? It seems like the eyes are not on them, which to me suggests that the eyes right now are still on the Donnie's team. So potentially not going for that fight was not the correct play.
Ooh, they just pulled that off. They just managed to stay alive a little bit longer. Scented also by himself right now, split up from Edgy. Edgy on the other side, fighting Skittles here.
Come on.
Edgy, this is a very important 1v1 right now. First, second, third, all
that's
of which have been their
okay.
own tumultuous games here, having struggles coming into this round
Are you
right
ready
now.
up,
Aegis
or-
and Skittles find one another. Sense and Edgy will find one another. They are still in the game, so now another team has been fragmented here. Another top 3 trio all of a sudden has lost a member, and they are having a hard game. And this is an important game. This is a very, very pivotal moment for all of these trios here, Reese.
Look, think about this. First place, Tabs, Teo, Pledge, out of this one. Second place, third place, and fourth place teams, being Jukes' team, Commandment's team, and DJ's teams, are all duos. So right now, our top 4 are completely in shambles. In the second last game of the finals of NA East, you have to think the Aspect, Kaz, and Hoofishy, if they have a big game, or even Saf, Canada, and Stretch, if they have a big game too, this could hugely alter and potentially change the winners and the champions of the region.
Definitely, and you said it best. That was like a game-altering moment right there. And then the lobby focus comes in still, so they weren't even completely left off the hook. Back to it though, Sentient gets deleted out of the sky. Down he goes, and Edgy's gonna come down for the quick save. He does land on top of the box. No way, Edgy's gonna be able to get this pickup here. Users and Dukes might be able to recognize the fact that this is a weak build next door. No, they're not gonna see it, but Visuals comes on in. Oh, Pros don't fake. Edgy should have committed there. And look at that. Now Senta's gonna get wrapped up, and Edgy's on the run here to try to stay alive. He's running past some tons of trios, and no additional focus is coming in. It's all or nothing now as he's scrambling here to stay up. He's starting to run out of the heavy mats, and there he goes down, and that's it. Third place out. It's even closer now.
Third place is out. Out. Jukes pops the med kit. No shield to his name, and I'm pretty sure User still has some in his inventory, but them as a duo is so tough. Another duo underneath them, Day and Reverse as well. I don't feel like we're even watching trios at this point. It would seem like every single team that's had a contention spot, that's had a pop-off, seems to be in this game as a duo. So for Users and Juke right now, they hopefully have that launch pad that they can able to get something, but no, they're playing that signature aggression when it comes to Fifth Zone. They want the refresh. They want to ensure that they can keep themselves moving through the first moving zones, that 6th zone.
And don't forget, guys, Agers and Skittles are still alive here. That's our 4th place team. Just paired up right next door. No, Agers is down. Jack Acorn and Slacks are still up. They still have a chance here. On high ground is Bizzle right now, but Users down to 1 tag. Users falls. Dukes now has no HP. He gets landed on by Jack and Slacks. They're next door, and they get him taken out. Down goes Dukes, and all of a sudden that is it. 1, 2, and 3 are out of the game here. The standings are open officially for the other trios to jump on up to really set us up for a close final game 6.
those final game 6. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are out, which leaves Aspect's team still in it. And it was Kaz who actually picked up the 1v2 onto Azur's team, so huge plays from them. Stretch still in this as well, our number 6 team. Not playing their usual high ground playstyle, but they're close. And if I would bet any money on it right now, Stretch is going to look up. He's going to see Bizzle up on high ground. He's going to start spraying, and they are going to look to claim the victory royale in this game. They are not a team who is content with being second high, with being mid-ground layer. They're a team who wants to play high, and they want to pick up the victory royale.
This is the opportunity right now, opportunity of a lifetime here in the tournament. Us know the launch pad gets broken out there. Stretch is the only one who manages to take it. Kanata barely sees himself there, almost taking fall damage and getting taken out of the round. Here it is. Gabe is going to go on and fall all the way to low. Jack's still up. Other names still in this game as well. I am seeing, of course, Avery here. Fishy and company still up too. There, Kanata does manage to get down to his trio. Here's Stretch trying to branch his way on up. This is reminiscent of the final game of last season as we saw it all come down here, but don't worry. We get to continue this arc here today because we still have another round in front of us. Depending on how this plays out though, Reese, Stretch could jump up to top 3 here.
He could indeed, and this is such good awareness to make himself all the way up this hill. But no, Kanata is picked up at the back, so Stretch. And Saf as well also picked up to Jack, who is just behind them on the leaderboard. So Stretch is now alive as a solo. He has to make sure he gets up this hill as fast as he can. And he's got Bizzle right on his back. But no, he's a great solo player. He understands exactly what he needs to do. He's got himself in that good position and hopefully clutches himself up. Big placement points too. But Bugha finally putting on a show with Nosh and Avery today. But no materials. They can't get out. They can't even build up with that single brick build they tried to drop to Avery, so they dropped down to the back of the zone to avoid any of those eliminations giving them to anyone else.
All of a sudden, Frisk ends up on the high ground here. He's putting extra pressure down into the lobby there, looking to take home this victory royale here. Stretch still alive, the most relevant player in this endgame right now in a top 4 situation. Now, don't forget, Stretch has had phenomenal solo performances in the past. One of the few players to actually take crowns home as a solo player, showing us what he's got, but there's a full trio up top. He's just got to survive at least one more team for some more placement points. I think he's done it. I think he actually clutched out this top 3. He's playing the Storm here, nice and slow. Can he steal away any of these elims right now? Wait, this is winnable. All of a sudden, this is very winnable. Stretch on high ground. It's a 1v2 situation. He's out of match though, Reese. He hits Frisk. That's one shot, but no, there he comes through. Frisk clutches up. Oh my gosh, that was so close.
That was so clutch. But for visuals, Big LG, Joji, and Frisk as well. They're going to pick up the victory royale in the second last game for that as well. For them, they were looking really good at the end of day 1, but I'm not sure how close they were to the top at the end of our current leaderboard, so how much that actually impacts the top 3, the top 5. But look, Stretch, what a show he put on there. Clutching up a top 2 as well, remember, from being all the way down on the mountain, having to climb all the way up through the crevasse to make their way up to the top there to get a top 2. Beautifully executed play, and I'm sure that he's going to be happy with that, and in particular coming to this final game.
Hey man, definitely it's keeping it interesting for us here on the desk, and you know what? The story continues on. Let's hurry up and get to Zeke here so he can get to this last game.
Thank you guys so much. Crushing the casting right now. My goodness. Shout outs to Observer. Like, if you did not understand the depth that these guys were in when that shot were looking up, that was a massive chasm they had to climb. And by that time, there's only a handful of builds in the pockets of every trio trying to navigate their ways up. I will say, once again, Frisk and company, Victory Royale 10 eliminations, you love to see it. But Sap, though, Vivid, he makes it into a second place. That is 26 points by itself.
Yeah, I mean, Stretch goes huge right there. Kanata and Seth go down a little bit earlier than him there, but he makes a great Storm play, hides away in the Storm because he knows he has that Chug Cannon, use the remainder of his build to sneak up on the high ground. Give him a shot at honestly winning the game as MDF called right there. You know, there was a real opportunity for him to 1v2 that situation, but, you know, that out of the picture, he picks up second place regardless, picks up a ton of solo points, and you know, looking at the leaderboard prior to that game, they were in 6th place, trailing by around 40 points outside of top 3. So that clutch right there, combined with the eliminations, is, as you can see here, going to put them in the top 4 with only 4 points behind top 3.
Wow, guys, first and second place right now, 5 points the difference going into the last game of FNCS Finals. This is hype. It doesn't get much better than this. Oh my goodness. I mean, we saw in the last game there as well, fellas. We saw that a lot of the trios, I mean, early on, even DJ Agents and Skills there, like, you know, having to kind of drive off with 50 health left in their vehicle just to get something in the game standing points wise. We saw towards the end stretch, as you mentioned, made a massive play for Saf and Kanata to get into that top position. You can see they're at 256 right now. They're in 4th place, 174 placement points, 41 eliminations. We are talking small margins right here. You can see even in 5th position, 5 points behind them, Slacks, Acorn, and Jack right on their tails here. 2 points behind that, Aspect, Kaz, and Fishy. But I mean, this is the exciting side. Obviously, Reese and Vivid, you've chosen Commandment, Centered, and Edgy there, who are currently in 3rd position at 260 points. Only 26 from 2nd, and I think 31 from top spot. There is still so much to play for. This is the last game as well, boys. Vivid, this is huge.
Yeah, I mean, if we go ahead and look at the math right there, Saf, Kanata, and Stretch had 220 points for that game, right? They just had a 36-point game. If we look at where Commandment, Centered, and Edgy at, if they get 36 points and Justice, Users, Dukes, and Tabs, Teo, and Pledge don't get really any points, then they can win as well. Just want to kind of put it into perspective how close this is going to be going into this final game.
Yeah, it's going to be so close. I cannot believe that they're back on the top spot again. After such a tumultuous start at the beginning of today's proceedings, they finally make their way back there, but can they hold it in this one last game? It's kind of our own little mini reboot round here. I say mini, it's a huge reboot round because it's FNCS Finals for the actual champions. But still, it's massive. I think that's what it all comes down to, is whether or not they can hold out and get into those top spots, because we saw a lot of top teams are going down early on, giving other teams to kind of a chance to rise through and get in there. But let's take actually a look here at one of our top teams who we think could be very much in with a chance. We just saw Stretch. I mean, that play as well over a second ago, where Stretch actually holds off in the storm, waiting as everyone starts to build downwards. He suddenly propels himself upwards to give himself the best opportunity, the trajectory above high ground, as we know these guys can strike so effortlessly, and gets that second position, giving them all those points. But I mean, they're a fantastic trio that I think we're going to definitely see up there in this last game. They know exactly what to do. But DJ and Asian Skittles, could this be their moment? Could this be their time?
Yeah, I mean, them getting out of 20 is going to be really, really important for them to be able to establish a run at like top 3, potentially even at top 1 slot, right? Because in that last game we saw that the trio that they were contested by Lazo, Lazar, and Trashy, they actually made a little bit of a push on them in that game, and they ended up being a shambles. So unfortunate for DJ and Agers and Skittles in that sense, so they have to kind of figure that out for this last game because it's all on the line. I think one of the biggest takeaways from looking at Stretch, Saf, and Kanata over the past 2 games is that a game ago, not this previous one, but the one before that, we saw them on the low ground and clutch up a 2nd place. Then Stretch solo as well. They're not even on the high ground, they're playing that mid ground target again, so he has to make a solo clutch from the low ground. These boys aren't even playing height right now. Like, if I would have said that like 5 games ago, none of you would have even believed me. Like, these guys are height connoisseurs. They love playing the high ground, and they're switching it up to go into the last game and try to give themselves the best chance at winning.
I think that's what separates a lot of the teams as well. The fact that we know that these 3 players are all capable in that situation of clutching up as a solo in that end game, which gives them the best opportunity. Other teams might not have the same X factor as these guys do. But I tell you what, that is what I think separates them from a lot of other trios. They could go all the way forward.
Adaptability, right? We talk about this time to time, season to season, which trio can keep up with the changes, the meta as it continues to evolve season to season. This is it, Fortnite fam. One final game in NA East. Which team will come out on top? Will Dukes and company see a win? Will Tab G take it away? So much here to fight for. And don't forget, even if a team doesn't get a victory royale, they're trying to move up as high in the standings, because at the end of the day, you're still playing for prize money. Even if you don't walk away number 1, if you go from 16th to 5th, that is such a difference in prize money. So let's do this. NA one last time, baby. MDF Reese, over to you.
Here it is, guys. We're gearing up right now, and it's up to us to expect the unexpected, because that is what today has really proven to us, that anything can happen. Teams can truly rise up from the bottom of the pits here, and all of a sudden be in a true chance to fight for the crown here. This is what we're watching right now, Reese. I mean, this is the final game. This is the last game, game number 12 of the 2-day format here for the FNCS Finals.
This is the final game. We've had 3 weeks of qualifiers, 2 kind of crazy crazy days when it came to the semifinals, the reboot round. We've had 11 games so far. We have this final one left, and this is everything to play for. For Jukes, Justice, Users, the team we're looking at right now, 5 points in the lead ahead of Tabs, G, Teo, and Pledge. Underneath that in third, Commandment, Scented, and Edgy being 26 points behind them too. Honestly, we've got to keep an eye on the elimination feed. If we see any of these teams going down right now, it's basically over for them.
Yeah, definitely. There's no room now to fall here. Because again, things are going to settle down. This is that early game here. Take a look at the standings. 291. Dukes, Justice, and Users. Tabs, Teo, and Pledge, 26. Take a look here. Teo gets knocked. This is very important. Our second place team, Trouble in Paradise. Third place, Scented, Commandment, and Edgy looking okay, looking comfortable right now. We're going to hop back over though, see what's happening here. I hear shotgun shots unfolding right now.
But what's happened is a team switched up their drop swap potentially, or was he picked out of the sky upon drop? And it seems like it was that. So the bus came in from that southwest side, and one of the teams who'd landed on the Guardian Tower actually managed to knock him out of the sky. So panic over a little bit there. You know, I was getting a little bit worried. I thought there was a team switched up the drop swap, potentially went for the congestion there, trying to fight them, but no, they're lucky there.
A little I'ma land on you moment.
Almost. Last game got me worried, man.
No, it's okay though. They are completely clear guys. They have the draw spots themselves. Things are gonna start to mellow back out, get into the normal groove here. That could have been so close.
That could have been close. That could have been very, very bad for them. They got the Llama as well, which ended up turning what was a really bad situation into something that didn't really matter, right? The team who landed to the west of them got their Storm Surge out, beaming him out of the air at that moment. They've got the Llama. They've got a ton of ability to rotate much quicker now out of this too, and they're going to hopefully get themselves to a good spot. But looking at Scented, Edgy, and Commandment, who've rotated to the south side and already picked up Dictating here. We see Wrigley already hiding in the house, trying to just do what he can to keep away from this powerhouse trio that's here. As this third member of the team just tries to get out of this spot as well, almost just denying Scented, Commandment, and Edgy any points, but no, they're on the chase, and it's K-Burbs just trying to get away from the duo who's chasing them in the car.
The best part about this is that it seems like they were just saving this trump card for the last game because they know that the strategy of this trio, right? One player's always going to be down here trying to farm up, and this is why they take advantage of this entire thing, and leaving one player behind up on the mountain is probably the biggest risk that they're going to put forth, but it's a 2v1 situation. We're talking about two of the best to have ever done it here, up against K-Burbs right now. K-Burbs, he's up. He's got a big shoes to fill here if he wants to win this fight right now. But it's about to be all over here as they start to hop in. There it is. Commandment wraps him up. And what do you think? I'm thinking they were waiting to play this one out right here, and all of a sudden now they have all the surge and attacks that they need.
Yeah, let's set this up in comparison to the previous season, right? They made a push that went on to Flush Factory that didn't end up working out for them in the final match. But in that time, they were leading. They were in the position where they didn't need to choke at that point. It was so close. Right now, Scented, Commandment, Edgy have nothing to lose. They are down. They're in third right now. They need the eliminations, and they need a huge game as well in order to push themselves back up in the leaderboards. Being down like this is the play. They've saved it for the moment. They know that Dictating's team is landing to the south of them. They've looted fast. They've rotated early, and they've pushed into that position and picked up an easy 2 eliminations here, which is summoned and kind of dealt with some of those real issues that they had with Storm Surge, which we have not seen them deal with typically before, but somehow in the second day, very, very problematic for them.
Yeah, definitely. Those problems start to pile up here, but hey, they're getting ahead of the issues before they really start to take its course. Kanata, South, and Stretch, you know, having a great day right now. 139 points so far, and the best case scenario for them, the top 3 teams to have a struggle of a round before, then all of a sudden them to have just a pop-off game off the backs of Stretch's big clutch there. They're in 4th place, sitting comfortable, at least in a true fighting chance here for the 1st place spot. Now, it is of course going to come down to whether or not the performance can be met, right? If Dukes, Justice, and Users can outperform Tabs, Teo, and Pledge, and then the rest of the lobby, that'll be wraps. But we already know anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Indeed, they're already situating themselves up in a nice power position early on, and they're just going to be looking to get wherever they can. These hills are often claimed by those teams. landed lazily very, very early on, so we're hoping to see a large split from them, which they are. They're claiming 3 different horizontal spots here, which is good. They can have the most opportunity for tags. And actually, we saw in the feed there, Commandment finished up onto Wrigley there, so that was the 3rd elimination, so they picked up that final elim from that trio. So they were not slowing down anytime soon. They were still looking for that aggression, and they have set themselves up fantastically in this game. Same with Saf, spotting the llama.
Yeah, and they need those points, right? They need those points. Those are big points. They have a gap to fill here to catch up, Reese.
Oh, hold on. Ufish's team being pushed by Moo right now. This is some animal-on-animal violence, but no, he's managed to back on out into his teammates of Kaz. I was worried that I thought Kaz and Aspect potentially had been knocked or were downed out early, and this was the finishings of a final race here, but no, he's managed to get back into his teammates. This doesn't seem to be an engagement that we're going to see happening. And I'm wondering if in this final game we're going to see teams like Moo, right? Those teams who are lower down on the leaderboards go for a more aggressive game and try to pop off with a bunch of eliminations, because honestly, like, you kind of have nothing to lose at that point. Realistically, they're down in 32nd. If they want to get, I think, top 26 is where they get more money out of this. So they need a huge game anyway. So for them, they kind of might as well up the aggression and see if they can pick up a ton of eliminations and a victory royale too.
Yeah, let's not forget, these placements stay with you as well, right? Your competitive career self. Everyone here is hungry. They have the mentality of doing the best that they can. And, you know, sometimes you just got to game the system. You got to game the format. And if that means you need a big round with a ton of eliminations and not just an end game, hey, we're going to see some upsets here for sure. The potential is very high. But I think we've seen enough of those clashes, right, between some of the top teams, at least for what we'll see unfold for a last game here, game number 12 in the early game. Everything else should be relatively smooth sailing from here on out, as far as the traditional pacing goes, the normal clashes and whatnot. The early game fights, I don't see any of our top tier teams. They have been taken out already, getting jumped on anytime soon.
No, I think all of our top-tier teams are situated in the top-tier positions. This is a South Zone, which, remember, has benefited the majority of our top 5 teams as well, right? Because Saf is relatively centered, being in Lazy Lake, obviously a little bit to the south. We've seen Commandment set and Edgy already wanting and asking for those South Zones as well. We see right now Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, who's currently in 5th, also being a South Zone team as they drop at Slurpy Swamp, rotating themselves up now onto the Guardian Tower here. So, benefiting a lot of our top teams.
Let's take a look here, though. A quick stat. 40 points separate first from 5th compared to 70 points going into the final game last season. It's really just starting to show us how close this really is for our top 5 teams, guys. It is so close, and it has never been closer for us here on the desk. So, you know, if you are rooting for any of these guys, they all have a true fighter's chance for taking this all here.
This is what you want to see going into the final games. If you're a player, you want to have that 70-point lead. You want to keep your distance. You want to make sure that you're solidified at the top. You're safer, right? You have that position down. But for us watching, let's be real. I want to see a close game. I want to see it go down to the wire in the final match.
This is it. I mean, yeah, it has been closer. Teo here, caught out by himself. Where is his teammates? Why is he eyeballing up a full trio right now? Pledge and Tabs G are down. This is devastating for our second place team right now. They are 5 points off of number 1. How can you put all this pressure on Teo's shoulders right now to actually pull home this win right now?
I mean, you can't. You've got to remember that he's going to be struggling with Storm Surge by himself to start with. Not only that, if he manages to get the 5 points out from getting that first placement threshold, and somehow Juke's team doesn't, which it doesn't seem like they're going to this moment, they're still not going to win on a tiebreaker. They're still not going to win the tiebreaker. So he needs more eliminations. They need an additional point to go alongside of that. And that is not looking like it's going to happen right now. So for Teo's team, this is so critical, and I'm not sure how he's going to do it. I would love to understand what the comms are going to be like, what the passion is going to be like in that call right now. I'm sure, to be honest, I think they're going to be deadly silent.
Oh no, Teo's getting pushed up on first. Jonathan already moving on through. Teo's not confident about this, trying to change his layer. He's going to go all the way down here, giving up the power position here. Expanding materials, trying to put up a fake, just a front right now to show, hey, we have some room to work with. Blowing through all the mess. You have to in these kind of spots, in these kind of situations. You just have to. That's all the panic setting in here. Not leaving anything for risk. Be careful with that floor, though.
Be careful indeed. He's using
Oh
majority
my
of
gosh.
materials here. This is heartbreaking, honestly. This is devastating to watch as he's created such a good base for him. But I don't even know if that edge underneath there is in the storm. I'm not sure if he's actually managed to make the full rotate in using those materials yet. And if we see the team above Frist's team with Joji and Visuals notice this, man, they've only heard one footstep, they've only heard one player build, and if they find him down there and realize that it's Teo, it could be over. But he's managed to be 4 damage above the threshold right now. That is so close, and if that sticks, I will be very, very surprised.
Oh my gosh, and not only that, all those mats he built, it's not towards the direction of the new zone, it is in the opposite direction, so he's just putting up all this, again, this spacing here. I was wondering if it was for just a fight, maybe he was trying to fight for the reboot card or something, but no, time's surely gone now. Teo peeking the cone here, trying to see if he can get any extra info right now to jump in, find a tag here. He's going to need it, guys. He's going to have to go for it. Mind you, these are enemy walls, heavy material as well. He's exposed to the side there. Wait a second, these are his old builds here, okay? Can actually work with this.
That's it, but he's dropped below. He's now 12 below. If he had to get an opportunity, that could have been it. I hope the air's materials in there. He's crouching. He still doesn't know if there's any of those enemies still left in there, but we know they did. That's there's one whole team at the end. I don't
Tons
know.
of heals.
Look at this. He could out-heal this.
Okay.
So this could be it, right? He needs to get a top 25 from here, which is going to get him the next threshold. But at the same time, we need to see Jukes, Justice, and Users go down too. The spray started to come in from other teams, but not only that, he's going to potentially have to rotate. I don't know if you sit and tank Storm with the medkits. I think you do. He has the chug cannon here. He has the medkits. He has to just sit here and do what he can and let these teams pass and try and sneak on by, because you can see Joji, Visuals, and Frisk just boxing up at the edge, and I'm sure they're going to be the ones who's picked up the elimination so far onto the remainder of his team. So potentially they think he's here, as they also pick up an elimination onto Spegu there. Teo now going for the shots onto Skittles, which is another team who's currently in the top 4 as well.
Yeah, look at that, Teo. I'm not sure if he found those tags. We're going to find out here shortly, but he's definitely sitting on a pile of loot here. He's going to have to use it. Yes, he does. He found at least 2 or 3 tags there. He's trying to take these heals with him. Very smart play here. Bring as much as you can to the zone, because he's absolutely going to need it. He definitely has time to work with as well, so no rush here. Now, remember, yes, you get top 24 for at least 5 points, guys. Every single ounce counts. We're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. Life-changing money, especially for some of these up-and-coming young talent like Teo that have been grinding the scene here. Again, having these FNCS appearances and now proving that they can actually do this all here, but pressure's high here. Storm Surge, he's below it. He's going to have to start healing here, Reese. 2 players have to go down. Do you think he's going to make it? It's a real question.
I think he'll make it. He'll make it. There's one full trio, remember, that they are below Storm Surge. So when they get eliminated, if they have less heals, that should be okay. This is one of the only times where out-healing Storm Surge should be okay. Also, just given he has this huge pile of loot in here that he can heal up. Still more at the back of Storm, right? He can just sit, use these minis, go through. It should be okay. Because remember, it's him and one other team getting tagged for Storm Surge right now. So somewhere else, it's DJ and Angels and Skittles over there too. We can see that they're weak. So when they start to go down, Teo should be okay right now. But remember, Jukes, Justice, and Users are also going to be getting the additional points from this placement too that they go through. So despite the fact they make it there, they should be okay. But moving back over to their POV, DJ, Aegis, and Skills. DJ alive as a solo, 26 HP. They are currently 7th place. So this is huge. He gets picked up. Now it's down to Skills with 7 HP and a dream to see what he could do.
Now, mind you, still need more teams to go down if you want to get some placement points to Teo. So everyone's still in it. Skittles going to go down. That's one more team that Teo does not have to worry about at this point. And again, these teams rotating here, as much as he wants to tag them because he's going to need these tags, he's got to be very careful to not show his hand, not play the fact that he is an absolute solo on the backside of his zone. If he gets too close to D-Roller, he will be spotted out, turned and burned on. So he has to eat a little bit of Stormline here. Play so close to it. This is, oh man, pressure's so high for him right now.
The pressure's so high, any mistake could be him eliminated. The fact that he's not being seen here is absolutely crazy. His movement so slow and calculated. D-Roller's team is right next to him. They both have not spotted him. They're using the inflatable, but the builds start to come out now as we heard the sniper shot come through. So his awareness has been understood from D-Roller's team, but the spray has not started to come up yet. Teo starts to trade back, but Trashy's team now starting to hold him at the edge of the zone as well. He's down to 150 HP. If 2 AR tags come on through to him, he will be cracked and he will be focused. He is down to only Wood left remaining, and this is so close as he starts to rotate into the congestion of D-Roller and Charlie, who have spotted him, who know that he's weak, who see the Wood as well, and almost definitely who are going to start spraying.
And this is a 5-tick now. This is where the zone really starts to do damage. This is the worst zone to stay sitting inside of. One player can go down, or one team, for him to get some points. No, he's going to instead grant the points to the rest of the lobby. The entire lobby, whoever is alive right now, has earned 5 additional points for placement. And just like that, TabsG, Teo, and Pledge, their tournament run is over, but my gosh, hats off to them. What a great run you guys have managed to put up this season.
Crazy. Honestly, very impressive. And for Teo, I can't imagine the nerves that he was under in that situation. He must have honestly been shaking to try and get himself just some points. But look, it was never going to be enough. Users, Justice, and also going on along with Jukes right now. Such a good spot in the zone. Fully dead side with plenty of materials, 11 peppers, the pads in their inventory, tons of ammo. They're not only looking to get tons of points this game, they're looking to pick up the Victory Royale and take home the championship title as well.
This is a loadout to take a W if I've ever seen it. Those 11 peppers, guys, we haven't seen much of it here in this season, but they were dominant in the last season. And take a look at this. Justice jumping into the fight right now with Dukes and Users. This is that aggression. This is the little bit of risk that we were seeing in them in day number 1. It seems like they have shooken all of the doubts and you know, the misplays aside here. And in the back half of day 2 so far, they have really stepped up today. They have stepped it up. They've played exceptional. But look at this. They're still going to need a little bit more tags, right? They're 117 above. It's going to be good for now, but how long can this last here?
I think they can last it for a while, right? 12 players need to go down. I'm sure they'll manage to get at least a couple more tags from this position as well, given the players around them. We see Damir and Verse down below. Obviously, Sharkman's team here too. LG, Joji's team too. But you know, this could be overly aggressive. They may not need this, but I'm sure they've hit the tag. A 34 white comes out. No, they've picked up the elimination. They've solidified themselves. I don't think that was a point. I'm not sure. Yes, no, Jukes actually got 2 eliminations. So 4 points from that. More Storm Surge and more materials as well.
Now, what if they pull high ground right now with that refresher they're sitting on here? This could be everything and more for Justice, Dukes, and Users here. It's Commandment, Edgy, and Scented. They have to be shaking in their boots right now as Saf. Oh, wait a second. Saf is down right now. This is stretching Kanata's trio that we're looking at. 2 damage below the Surge. This is rough.
This is so rough for them right now, and again, they have to make a rotate with the entire team
Users
to do that as well. Users does get zoned. They're probably going to take height as well, which will be huge for them. But Scented, Commandment, Edgy, 4 eliminations to their name, in the best position we have seen them in all day so far, and they're looking to make it better. These here, the August team is getting attacked by the Surge, and they are indeed going for it. They're looking for the aggression. They're spraying the boards out. They drop the entire trios down. Knock Body as well. They pick up the final elimination. I'm not sure if they got the points for it, but they're getting chunked back. But they are not lost at all. They're getting out there with cap materials and perfect HP, ready to go into the end game. This is looking like a 2-horse race.
Definitely right now. Scented, Edgy, and Commandment are showing us that they want to fight for this win here. They are not content with being the team that has taken second season after season. But it is such an uphill battle for them right now, and you can tell they're willing to put the risk out there. And I love this here, because they're keeping it nice and interesting for us. As things are starting to really settle down now, teams are rotating through, and they are still a full trio, so the hope is real here for this team.
It's full trio, but look who's on high. Justice's team was just off screen there. They got the zone, they got the power position as well. They're in their commanding spot where they are comfortable. Scented, Commandment, Edgy on the full low ground. This is their home, this is where they're comfy. On the high ground, the exact same thing can be said against Jukes, Justice, and Users. Both teams in their pivotal spots. Who will take home the championship slide? We're about to find out when it comes to this final endgame.
For Elims already, they're closing up. The gap here that they definitely have to catch up on. It's going to take a lot more than that, though, as Duke's users and Justice here are sitting inside the base. They're being very passive here. And they have a big decision to make right now. Do they crank for high ground and just go for it? Put it all on the table, expend the material. Or do they be nice and safe, play it slow, stay on the low ground? This is a very tough decision for them right now.
Going to see. I don't think they're going to overcommit to high ground. They don't know who's in the lobby. They don't know if Saf's team is still here, looking to take it, looking to claim it at this moment. So they're going to be opportunistic about it. These guys have been smart. They've been calculated in every single end game they go to. No risks at all. For Scented Commandment Edge, they've hit their first pack. Hopefully they have another, because that is not going to take them far enough.
I think they do. I mean, they found all that extra loot earlier. Duke's Justice users just inching their way on out. They're just looking right now, trying to find the perfect time so they could pop this launch pad here. There it is. They have all the information that they need. They've managed to scout it all out. They know it's okay. The air is safe to fly in. No one is situated just yet. Stretch on the other side, pop it off here, finds himself an elimination there. They are no longer below the surge. They're just battling it here in this moment. For Scented Commandment Edgy, they're full on tarping, full base tarping, all the way through to the new zoner. Mind you, they did have that refresher as well. Since it gets cut off, though, he's got to be careful here. And it's Jukes and company on the other side of the wall here, putting that extra pressure into another team now on the low ground. They're piece controlling all the builds here. They are setting themselves up to be our FNCS champions. They've officially broken to top 17 now. This is it.
This is it, top 15, the spacing, impeccable, both players, all three staying so close to each other. If another team opens up the wall, if they find opponents, if they find enemies near them, they will all triple pump at the same time. This is their classic playstyle when they're playing this low to mid as well, and they're 270 above the Storm Surge damage, trying to move on in, getting into the back of the tarps, all three of them taking shots on the same opponents, but no eliminations are coming through. They're going to keep going, try to get round on the side. Inside the box, they've got the corner place, and that's a knockdown onto Fatch as well. They're going to keep applying that. The finish comes through as well. The elimination points will come through. The refreshes in the inventory. 82 builds still onto Jukes. They're looking so strong coming into the end game.
These huge eliminations, guys. This party might just be over soon. Get ready to get your jackets and go on home, because right now, Dukes, Justice, and users are putting themselves in a position to take this entire thing home here. And look, you can tell they're feeling very confident. They're starting to fight every team on their layer, and they have the maps to do it. They have everything that they can actually ask for to be victorious in this last game. Now putting that focus up to second height, though. Divine and Slim are up there. Stretch is going to go up from the side. If he does manage to do it, it could open up the opportunity for Justice and crew to go for it. Justice is going to go for it. They want to end this on a victory royale. They want to take home this whole thing with a big W, and Dukes has shown us what he's got. And now the team in first place has high ground in the final moments here of the last game. FNCS Day 2 Reese. We might just be watching greatness unfold here.
We not might be, we 100% are. This is the day one users, Justice and Jukes, that we saw yesterday. The performance that we had out of them, they've just waited until the final game to pull it all out. 4 eliminations to their name, high ground secured right now by them all, and absolutely pivotal for Justice. Also picking up more eliminations onto Stretch, down below on the low ground too. They just have the commanding position, and now it's all about securing it. They have the materials and are pressuring all of the teams down below.
This is it. Scented still up. Scented goes down. Edgy goes down. And now you are officially watching Justice, Dukes, and users cruise their way on home and take home the Axe of Champions here. It's all going to start unfolding. Commandment goes down to the hands of the high ground team. That's right. They'll be your new FNCS champions, and they could take this home on a W. Put the shots down. Take home the win. All that hard work that they put in this weekend can finally pay off. And yes, Justice, you deserve to dance on height, because this is your game. Game number 12, the last game. Reese, here it is, the final moments now. The shots are coming through. There's only 2 teams between them and finally solidifying that big W they fought so hard for. Here it is, the last player, the low ground. Bring it on home, boys, and as a trio, they do it. There it is, GG's.
Not only will the Victory Royale go to Dukes, Justice, and Users in the final game, the FNCS Championship will also go to them. The pickaxes, the crowns on their head. Clinical play throughout the whole weekend. They had us worried in the second half there for a minute. They absolutely did, but they pulled on back with a Victory Royale in the end.
That is the greatest way. That is the greatest way any team can win, and a full-on FNCS is with a Victory Royale race, and we got to watch it. Front row seats.
Yo, we got to watch it from the front row as well. I couldn't have asked for anyone better to do it with at the same time, man.
Definitely. Hey, listen, we're out of here. We're going to sign off. Monster Defense, Reese, those games are great. Des, take it. Take it from here, guys.
Thank you guys so much. You are two incredible casters. Reese, listen, massive shout out, brother. You went as an analyst, 8 games in EU. You came over here, 6 casted games. Your Fortnite fans, y'all know what to do. Give them a follow, okay? Give them a follow as well. My goodness, I just cannot believe, right? This was the kind of story that developed yesterday. Dukes' trio, this trio that just showed up, was so dominant, right? They leave qualifiers, and where they've won like 3 games back to back, and we're thinking like, wait. We are not even watching that heat. How powerful and potent is this team? Suddenly they roll up here. Yesterday, 5 games in a row, they did not leave first place. Game number 2 today, they leave first place. And we think, is this the end of the Dukes trio? Could they have started so strong to then suddenly be dethroned in day number 2? No, Vivid! No!
Yeah, and if you guys were looking at those highlights right there, we saw the sniper rifle elimination come through from Frisk on the tabs. He was in second place, which basically secured the champions here at Dukes, Justice, and Users. They are your Chapter 2 Season 7 FNCS champions. The Day 2 stats. Oh, there we go. Fixed now. 333 points, 2 Victory Royales, 64 eliminations, and a 9.5 average placement. These guys played incredible. Day 1, they blew us out of the water. We couldn't even believe how well they were playing. Day 2, a little shaky at the start, as MDF alluded to, but they cleaned it up at the end.
They did, and they put on such a great show for all of us as well watching. You know, our predictions were, I mean, mine was way off, but you guys got very close with Commandment trio there. But I think with these guys, what was so special is that they constantly managed to turn things around when everything was thrown at them. There they are. Not only have they got that points tally, not only have they got the AXA champions, they won $135,000 between the 3 of them to share as well, which is absolutely magical. I shared earlier on a post saying that, you know, let's get behind these guys, because this is an opportunity to really put themselves on the map. This gives them a future, and we can celebrate that with them. And they have done exactly that. They've given themselves such a pedestal to kick on and have an incredible career from this one onwards and forward. And it's amazing to see. But we saw there, you know, kind of, I mean, you couldn't have asked for it perfectly written as well. To get the Victory Royale in the very last game, Vivid. I mean, this is a thing of beauty. You can't write this any better.
It was scripted, Adam. Come on, let's just tell them, right?
It's all scripted, yeah. We wrote this ages ago.
But I mean, huge performance from Commandment and Edgy there to clutch up a second place. Man, these guys are gonna love getting second place again. $105,000 for those guys to share. And you know, we're just gonna give you guys a quick little recap on our Day 2 start. Let's not forget that Clarity G, Knight, and Shark came out with a statement. Right, it was back-to-back Victory Royales, Game 1 and Game 2 today. We thought that they were gonna make a really good contention for that like top 3 slot, but you know, they ended up falling off a little bit towards the end. And this was a huge win coming out of Brocane. I believe they just finished in 9th, so you know, this contributing to them finishing at that high up on the leaderboard.
Yeah, we see DJ and Agents and Skittles here as well, who managed to get themselves really back in contention by propelling themselves back up with that Victory Royale and a ton of eliminations to go with it here. Then we saw Frisk, Joji, Viscals as well come back with, again, almost 10 eliminations there, and really putting themselves in with contention to at least, obviously we know the prize was a huge kind of positive that comes out of this as well here, competing at FNCS, and those guys really did that leaderboard. And then Dukes, Users, and Justice, I mean, this is what I'm so happy about as well, is they had such a big day yesterday. To start off today in such a bad way, really. But then to suddenly turn things around to show that the mindset did change, experience, whatever it might be, they have come out and they've got the spotlight you can see right here. Top 10 games, 7 of those in the top 10, which is fantastic to see. We got 40-plus point games, 5 of them, 5 40-plus point games. 4 team eliminations, 7 for Team White's eliminations versus the top 10, 36. I mean, that is exactly what you got to do. I think that what we've seen here in FNCS as well this season is that on this day 2, it has been back and forth for all of our trios. There's been lots of opportunities for trios to rise and rank because some have gone out so early on in each of our games. And these guys have just managed to take advantage right at the bitter end, Vivid, and come through and do an incredible job. I'm absolutely elated for these boys. Well done to Duke's Just News. They put on such a great show for us, for you guys. What a weekend. Worthy champions, man.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic showing. They 100% deserve it. Duke Justice and users did a great job finding eliminations throughout the 12 games at 64 eliminations, average for them of 5.33. And to recap, here are all so far the FNCS champions.
It looks like a beautiful axe right there as well. So good to see. Yeah, these are all the champions that have been crowned thus far in different regions. Some are yet to be crowned. You see NA West and Brazil there. Looking at Europe, Kiriachi, Stormy, right, and two of you didn't see Kiriachi's finale earlier on in EU. Do go back and watch the VOD because it is sensational, dragging his team over the finish line and clutching up Surge, trying to get as many placement points as possible and gets them the ultimate victory royale, the active champions, and the win in Europe, which was so good to watch unfold. Obviously here in NAU, you guys have joined us as well for Dukey's trio. I mean, they were all there. Every single team at this point has gone through the qualifiers, reboots, whatever it might be, and then finals against the top trios there are in their region and done it. And they are sensational. Every step of the way, sensational.
Yeah, man, 100%. If you're a trio that's made it to finals, hold your head high. That is the hardest thing to do, is just to get there, let alone compete, man. To everyone who plays, congratulations. To our champions, congratulations. But that is it. The competition is done here in NA East, and that wraps up the FNCS here in so far. But don't forget, we have NA West. We also have to take a look at Brazil, crowned champions in both of these regions. That will be after a break, and then we will return for an additional 6 games. And close out the FNCS in Chapter 2, Season 7. As always, Fortnite fam, please give a big follow to Vivid, to Adam, to MDF, to Reese, all these guys. Given if they're all, Reese is just a maniac. I mean, he's borderline trying to do his best shy away / seek impersonation, just taking over regions. You'll love to see it. We love you guys so much. Don't forget to check out the item shop for Major Glory before she leaves. And until next time, we love you. We'll see you on that Battle Bus.
No, I hope you liked it. Probably boring, I don't know. See ya. Alright, see ya.